Hello, guys, and welcome back to my live. Welcome to this space. If you're seeing me for the first time, my name is Jenna, and I am a makeup artist. So, today we're going to be doing a bridal makeup tutorial. So, I've already gone ahead to do the prep, so we're going to get straight into the video tutorial because we're focusing on the makeup, okay? So, for your prep, you can do a simple prep, which is wash your face, apply a moisturizer, and then a primer. Or if you have super dry skin, you can include serums, then moisturize and prime. Please don't forget your primer, very essential in your makeup um, routine. Yes, in your makeup routine, you don't want to forget the primer. So I'm gonna go straight ahead and I'm starting with this foundation is the Maybelline and the shade 340. This one says fit fits me, the matte poreless. So I'll be using this and I do like to place it on the back of my hand and go ahead and work. Okay. So I like to use a brush, then I go in with a beauty blender. This just helps with like texture and also with helping to really set that product into the skin. I like to have a wipe close by. And now I'm going to start with the brush for my application. So I'm taking a little bit of that and I'm going to be placing it here. So this foundation is a little too yellow, and that is because it's not the exact shade. So when you're working with a foundation that is not the exact shade, you may want to do a little bit of colorimetry or color theory to work it down. But sadly, I don't have my colors here, so I'm going to be working with this. I like to make sure that it is well covered. I like to have some of the foundation on the back of my hand, and I keep on going into the brush from there. And don't forget your nose. And I'm not really placing under the eyes because I'm going to be putting concealer there. I don't want to flood under the eye. So what I like to do is I like to look from side to side, see which part that doesn't have any foundation, and then I will apply some more. On the forehead, I'm just going to go in with a little bit. If you're new for and watching for the first time, welcome to my live. My name is Jenna and I am a makeup artist. On my live, I do live tutorials. So welcome to this makeup tutorial. Today I'm doing like a bridal look, which I believe can be worn whether you're a bride or not. If you're someone who loves something that is subtle, this will work for you. So the next thing I like to do is to take a blender and I'll go into the product and I'm going to blend it. I find this very helpful, like using the beauty blender again after the brush. I find that it helps with like the oils from the foundation. It helps to make it like really subtle because a lot of foundations tend to have oils, so it helps with that. You can bring it down to the neck, but I'm not doing that today. I find that whenever I do that for my neck, it tends to be really greasy. So I'm going to focus on the face. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to contour. And I like to use foundations to contour. Hello, lemons. How are you? Welcome to my life. Guys, please give my video a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to this channel. So this is the brand. It's called V Beauty brand. It's a Nigerian brand. And I'll be mixing it because this is a little too dark for me. I'm going to be mixing it with my Sephora. Just a little bit of that Sephora to balance it out. Excuse me. How are you, lemons? How are you doing today? So I like to just mix this, mix until I get a much lighter brown. For me, I love everything to look realistic, so I don't like to use a shade that is too brown or else it won't look realistic. So, making sure this is well mixed. And then I'll be using a brush. I know you guys are 18 degrees or minus 18 degrees because it's really, really cold. It's going to be cold for the next couple of days. So I'm contouring the jawline and I'm keeping it here and I'm just tapping it with the brush. And then I like to move it upwards. Oh, lucky you guys. We were having a winter storm as I speak. It's been on since yesterday. We've had like, I'm pretty sure we've had over 50 cm of snow. So it's like crazy. I'm going to do the forehead. And I prefer to tap and blend. So be careful and work as gently as possible. So do you see how it has like a very soft contour? That is what I'm trying to achieve with my contour. You don't want it looking very unrealistic. So I'm going to do this part. Very, very soft. Absolutely perfect. Just the way I like it. I like to blend this upwards because I'm going to be putting the blush and I don't want like a clear demarcation between my blush and my contour. So I love to blend it upwards. That's what it looks like. Now you can also contour the jawline. It really depends on you, but I like to go soft as well. And then today I'll be doing a nose contour, which I usually don't do, a cream nose contour. So we're going to be doing that. Well, I'm happy for you, lemons. Trust me, I wish we had 18 degrees. I really wish. And 2 weeks ago, we were also happy that we're having a good weather, and then now we're dealing with like a lot of snow. Must be nice. So I'm keeping it in that brow. I like to move it like so. Hello, Mike. How are you doing today? Did you guys have rain today? So just moving that in here. Oh, well, everyone here had the day off because we've been having like terrible winter storms. So same thing for me. We've had the day off since like yesterday. Lots of people are not going to work, and we probably might have, there might be a day off tomorrow as well. The winter storm is like a lot. Okay, so we want to blend this out quickly because this is like, this is a cream. It does dry slower, but it's good to work quickly. I know Lemon has been so busy, right, Lemon? You've been so busy with school. So I'm just blending this in. Trust me, it's a lot. It's like a lot. People's cars were getting like stuck in snow. It's crazy. They couldn't even move like their tires. Some people's cars were covered in snow by the morning. So that must be tough. Well, we've learned to survive with it here. So okay. Christopher is not here yet. So okay. Now that the nose is done, let's get into the blush. Yeah, because we were calling him my boyfriend yesterday, so I don't even have any energy to fight with you. If you say so, yes, yes. I've got no energy. So as usual, I'm going to be using the Ioni blush as my blush. And what I like to do is to place it on the back of my hand. Then I'm using the same brush that I used for my contour. This really helps to just even it out. This is what you want to do every time you put your blush. Always tap it before you apply. And you're going to see that this makes a whole difference whenever you apply your blush. Do you see how soft it applies? It works every single time. So if you've been having issues with like the texture of your blush, this is one way you can fix it. And then I like to blend it downwards into that contour. And depending on how much blush you like, you can keep tapping it and blending it until you're satisfied. I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side. Hello, Lennon. How are you? Welcome back to my live. How are you doing today? Okay, now to soften this out, I'm going to go back. You always want to make sure there's product on your blender. I'm going to pick a little bit of that blush and we're going to press this in. Just because we don't want to be looking like a clown, okay? So you just want to blend this in as softly as you can. See, it makes a whole lot of difference. So I'm just pressing it in until it's very soft. I'm going to do the same thing for here. You don't own anything. Okay. Okay. So this is what it's looking like. Okay, that lets you sleep at night. Okay. Okay. All right. Blush is done. Now let's do the under eye. This is what really brings everything together. Now to do this, I'll be using my, I'm gonna be using this. Yes, yes, yes. You remembered. Good job. You're listening. I time you out. What does that mean? Okay. I'm using a foundation. Sorry, guys. This is the same foundation that I use for my contour. I'm going to be using it to highlight. Remember, this is a bridal makeup. When we do this, ah, no selective hearing today. So I'm going to be using this to highlight, just to bring a little bit of brightness to the under eye. And this I'm going to be applying here. Gonna apply a little bit here. Don't forget that part. And we're going to be doing the forehead. Guys, remember, always use a damp beauty sponge. A damp beauty sponge is all you need. And then I'm going to be placing here. And I'm going to be very gentle because I've placed my contour. And I don't want to be overly dramatic with the highlight. And if you do make a mistake, you can always fix it. I like because you don't focus. Focus. This is a makeup live, so you have to focus. We're here for makeup, okay? So I'm placing this here. Okay. Then the under eyes I do last. And then a little bit here. Same thing. Thank you. And I'm going to place it here. Oh, thank you. Do I play hockey? Sadly, no. I've never actually watched an actual hockey game. So, sadly, no. So, I'm gonna go in and I'll blend this here. I'll start by blending this one here. Always want to take a little bit of product. Well, such is life. I'm a student and focused on studying. So, yeah. But eventually, I'll go. Okay. The only game I've actually watched is like basketball. But then, aside that, nothing else. Okay. Then we're going to do the forehead. I don't know yet. Maybe I might tour to other countries. Who knows? I don't know yet. I might just do a little bit of traveling. Okay. And I'm going to blend this one. Yeah. Get the degree, and then you can do other things. Yeah. Blending here. Okay. And now I'm going to do the under eye. We'll start with here. What was your mistake? Okay, then we're going to do here, here, and here last. So depending on the kind of products that you're using, you may end up working really fast. I'm a little slow because this product doesn't dry as fast. It's a foundation, so it does take a little while before it dries. So just have that at the back of my mind, at the back of your mind. Oh, well, there is no expiration date into getting the degree. So if you can still go back, like if you can financially, what I mean, you can still go back for your degree. If you made a mistake, just go back. Still, you can go back. Trust me, there's so many people who do go back and get their degrees. I mean, when you're young, you behave like a kid, right? So when you realize your mistake, of course, you can go back and try to fix it, so to say, or just get the degree. I know people who had like similar mistakes and then they didn't give up, they went back to school and finished the degree. So at the end of the day, only a little collage or college. You mean college? Yeah, a few times a week is good. It's pretty flexible. And I know that these days, like, school is pretty flexible. You can do it online. You can opt out for like a part-time study. So, yeah, you can do like part-time while you work. So that works too. Okay. So you always want to blend under your eye last so that then that's good for you. I'm proud. This is what it's looking like. Now, sometimes you can actually go under the eye with an even lighter concealer, which I'll be doing. Remember, we're going for a bridal look, so we're going full on today. Usually, bridal looks need to be on for a long time, depending on how it's celebrated wherever you are. So, you want to build it properly and well. So, I'm just putting a little bit of the bright concealer in here. And honestly, this is totally optional. Personally, whenever I'm doing like my makeup these days, I don't do this. But if I was working with a client, I would do this. As usual, we're gonna let this sit. Meanwhile, we're going to get the powder palette ready because you have to set immediately you're done. Okay. Remember to always have product on your sponge. I usually like a more pointy tip because these rounded ones don't really get in there, but I'm gonna work with it regardless. And I like to move it to the top of my eye. And this is what we look like. I'm going to go back to the nose and just touch it up just a little bit because I need to get it into the right position. Okay, the face is done. Now we have to start setting quickly before the eyes begin to crease. So I'm going to take my powder palette. Um, the under eye is typically where you need to set first before it gets any ideas about creasing. Always tap off the excess powder, or else you're going to be left with lots of residue that you have to work with. And you typically want to set everywhere That's interesting. So what do they say? What is my eyes saying? Hi, Adedapo. My name is not Opera. It's Opara. Opara. So there is no E in my name. There is. It's supposed to be Opara. So you might want to correct that. Yes, I'm taken by Jesus. I'm taken by my Lord and Savior Jesus. So yes, means firstborn. So this is what it looks like when you set correctly. So to set the nose, I'm going to make sure that I pinch this so that I can really get in. And you always want to set the nose. Trust me, guys, it's very easy to forget. I forget a lot of times. So I'm going to use my powder puff to press that in. Always set wherever you've put powder and concealer with a powder. Very important. Okay, now we're going to set the contour and the highlight. Always tap off. So this is where I place my contour. I'm going to be setting that. And I like to move it upwards to join with that blush. And then by forehead. We're setting, setting, setting. We're setting, setting, setting. Now I'm going to be setting the blush. And I'm using this blush palette, CPD, to set my blush. I'm going to be using a very peachy blush to do this. Okay. That's just set. Now we're going to go ahead and start doing the full face set. I like to use a powder shade that is in the same shade, and this just really helps to bring everything together. So you don't want to be missing this. Always, always to set the face. Oh, I like that one. Please to set the face. Always tap off and repeat. Very important. You don't want to miss this whenever you're doing your makeup. Always remember to set the rest of your face. Now we're going to be setting the nose as well. I'm going in with my powder. So we already used cream, so we're just reinforcing that cream contour. So I'm going to be very light on the powder. Okay, so this is done. Now we're going to go into setting the face. So I like to set the face with a spray, and then you can bake if you want. But this is a bridal look, so typically we're going to be baking. I'm using the e.l.f. mist and spray. This is a setting spray, by the way. So you want to make sure that this dries completely before you touch it, or else you'll be moving the products. So, and in moments when you have it dripping all over like this, don't worry, go in with your powder puff and just give it a gentle tap. This is why I like to have a fan, because this just really helps with the drying process. Because you can't touch your face while it's wet, please remember, always make sure it's fully dry before you go in with the next product. Almost there. All right. So now this is dry, and I'm gonna go in with the baking. I'm using this triangular puff. So you usually want to just focus on this part. And honestly, this is optional. So It really depends. Please. Okay. This is what is called baking, and honestly, not everyone does it. But if you're wondering how it is achieved, this is how it's achieved. So we're going to let this sit while we go ahead and work on the rest of the face. Now, because I have foundation and all of this, I have to use this just to help me with. So I like to use a pencil when I'm doing my brows, and this just helps me with like control and everything. You can use it. Oh, I'm gonna be doing like a hybrid today. I'm gonna be using a gel and pencil. So let's get into this. So the first thing you want to do is always to brush your brows. And I'm brushing the brow up like so. By the way, thank you guys for all your likes. I do appreciate it. Still subscribe if you haven't subscribed for more makeup content. Turn on your notification bells, okay? So I'm being very gentle with the gel. What this is going to do is to help really set the brow. And when I get to this part, I'm always brushing it sideways. And then here I brush upwards. You brush this part upwards, and then here you get it to lie down sideways. Okay, and you can see the brows are looking good. Now we're going to go ahead and get them done. Now before that, I like to set the brows. And I like to set this with my powder. And I just place it on the brow, like so. So we're setting the brows, we're setting with powder. After placing the gel, then we set with powder. And now I'm going to brush it up just to make sure there's no excess product in there. And this we're going to get to stay in place. And this is going to set. Now I like to use a Davis pencil. My pencil is almost at the end of its life. So I like to get my pencil super sharp. Ooh. Let's try this again. Getting the pencil super sharp. After this, I think this pencil is going to be done. So, yeah. A little bit more. You need a little bit more. And a little bit. Ooh, super sharp. So this is how sharp you want it. Very pointy. You know when we were like in um primary school or elementary school, yes. And you have to get your pencils very sharp. That's what you want. As sharp as that. Very pointy. Now I'm gonna be using this to do the brows. And this I'm placing on the back of my hand. And we're going to be placing this with a brush. I'm using a very flat brush. And I like to start here. So I usually like to see like a closer mirror just to help me with this. So do you see that? Gorgeous. And we're going to do the top. I like to follow the natural line of the brow. Oof, do you see that? So I like to pull it to the front just a little bit. I'm going to be very gentle. Then I like to fill it up in here. Just a little bit. And you can take the pencil and fill it up. This is why you want your pencil super sharp. And when we get to the front, we're going to be very light with the strokes, just mimicking the natural pattern of the brow. So this is what it looks like. You want to be very gentle when you get to the front so that you can still have it looking very natural in front. I like to go in with my brush. As you can see, this is already set. So I'm going to finish it off. And this is ready. So we're going to go ahead and correct any part that needs to be corrected. And look closely. I think it's good. Now we're going to go into the next one. The exact same thing. We're going into that gel and we're working from the bottom. I'm always very light-handed in front because I want to keep it natural in the front. So keep building it until you get it where you want it. Okay, then we do the top and then we fill in with the pencil, same thing. So this is what it's looking like. I'm going to look on both sides and I'm going to fill whatever I think I need to fill. And now we're going to go in with a pencil. So now I'm going to brush this up and I'm going to clean this up with some concealer. But as you can see, if you do your brows very well, you may not even need to use the concealer to clean it up. So I always try to get it looking good in the first attempt so I don't have to do a lot of work with that concealer. So that's a good tip for you. Alright, so I like to use two shades of concealer when cleaning the brows. This just helps with getting it looking really good and natural. I'm going to be taking the lighter one and I'm going to be starting in here. Once again, I need a closer mirror. And this we're going to focus in here all the way. So my brow has a natural arc. I'm going to follow it. And this is what we're looking like. So always pull down the leftover concealer, pull it downwards, and then we're going to finish it up in here. Then we're going to be using the darker shade for the outside, for the outer corner. Hello, Cherie. Welcome back to my live. How are you doing today? So I like to place this in here and in here. We use the darker shades. Yes, I'm very well. Thanks for asking. How are things going with you? What's the weather like? All right. Ooh, nice. I wish that was the case for us. We have it very, very, like we've been having a winter storm since yesterday, so it's like pretty harsh weather. So I like to go over the top, and of course I'm using the darker concealer to do this. And this is just to get it really nice and clean. Hello, Andre. Thank you very much. So this is done. I think it's pretty good. I'm not going to be touching it again. So I'm going to go in with the lighter shade once again, and we're going to be fixing up this one. Remember to pull it downwards. Okay. Now we're going to go back in the darker shade. So we're focusing it here. Choo, choo, choo. So this is like the most important part, getting the brows really done. I feel like the brows always define the face. So if you do a good brow work, then every other thing is going to just fall in place. So take your time with the brows. And if you feel like you can't trust yourself with doing your brows, I would suggest that you start with the brows, then do the skin work. So going in here with a darker shade, and then make sure your brush is basically empty, then you can do the top. And there you have it. So I'm almost satisfied with this one. I'm just going to go back into that lighter shade to fix this one. Really working it in here. And we're going to be pulling it forward just a little bit. And yeah, blending it, and we're going to be good with the eyes. So make sure that you blend it, okay? And this is what we're working with. They look very gorgeous. Now to finish this off, we're going to be placing some concealer on the eyelid, and then we're going to be going for like a very nude shade of eyeshadow. And we're placing this here just to give the eyes a little bit of pop to them. And we're going to set afterwards. This is very important. If you don't have an eyeshadow primer, this is another way to get it done with your concealer. So I like to tap it in. Just going to be tapping it and blending out the rest. You see how seamless that is? That's how you want it. So tap, 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 then blend out afterwards. And then we're blending it out. Alright, So we're going to be setting this with some powder. We're setting this including the brow area just to get it mattified. We don't want it sweaty. And once again, you're going to be setting that contour because we already messed with it. So this is where I'm focusing the contour, just in here. Remember, we don't want excess product. And voila. Now we're ready for some eyebrow and eyeshadow, not brow, eyeshadow. Let's get ready. I'm going to be using brown. Because this is a bridal look, we know that bridal looks are very, very soft, very, very regal. So I'm going with a very dark brown. Oh, thank you, Andre. Andre, where are you watching from though? So do you see the shade? Oh, that brown is gorgeous. By the way, I'm using my eyeshadow palette and my powder palette for this. And I'm just building that brown in here. I like to use a fluffy brush. Ooh, shout outs to you watching all the way from the States. Thanks for being here. So when I get here, I'm doing the same thing, but I'm keeping it, bringing it down, putting it into that crease. Well, I am all the way in Canada, so we're basically neighbors. So shout out to you all the way from Canada. So I love to use a fluffy brush because this just helps with the work. And voila, this. I know it's still a distance, but trust me, it's much closer than where I am from. I'm from Nigeria, which is 16 hours flights away. So that is far. So I love using like a bronzer to do this. You can do this with a bronzer. The bronzer just helps with the color and then you can build it up with your eyeshadow palette. But if you have a palette that has a good set of browns, then go for it. Now I'm going in with the brown from this palette. This is the Ever Beauty palette. I love this palette because it has a good range of browns, which I really love. So this I'm going to be placing in here, and then we're going to be pulling it in even further. Do you see how the browns are just working? So pulling it in even more. The first brown served as like a very nice transition. So this one we're pulling in a little bit more. Again, I'm placing this. This is a very matte eyeshadow look, by the way. So for the girlies that love browns, you're going to love this because you can actually switch it up. Like if I had any brides listening that want to do your own makeup, this is a very good way to do this, and then you can always switch it out. Always start it like a matte. If you know that you're going to go for like two looks on your day, you can start with the matte, then add some shimmer when you switch it up. And this look can actually go for a prom look, a dinner look. So this is pretty versatile. But I find that it's very, very suitable for a bride. Okay, so this is what we have. Then we're going to finish this up. For the outer part, I'm just going to pull this a little bit more, just a little bit more. Just pulling it out more. I like to use a flat fluffy brush because it has so many uses like this, helping me to get that pulled out look. Now, to get this really sharp, it's very simple. Just take a powder, use a flat end like this, and just get it sharp and nice. Doing the same here. And there you have it, very sharp. Now you can also sit under your contour. I'm actually supposed to have done this a long time ago, but I'm not such a fan of doing the reverse contour, but this is just a very easy way to do it. Use your powder and just trace out under the contour line. Okay. Now for this part, we're just going to keep it very light and simple. We're going for a very soft nude shade. So I'm going in with the shade. So I'm going to place it just in here. I'm doing like an invisible cut crease. And you want to blend it with the brown. Going to be doing it here as well. Okay, I'm going to be bringing back that brown to blend this in. We want it to be blended properly. I love the way it's turning out, so I'm pretty much okay with this. Okay, today is all about the browns, so I'm going to be lining the eyes with a brown. And I'm just using this roll of pens from a brand named Beauty by Rish Rish. Okay, I'm keeping this simple as like a half liner. So just filling this up. And of course, we're going to be blending it in. Some mascara. Okay, now I'm going to just be putting in a little bit of color under the eyes so that it doesn't remain blank. So we're going to use some of that brown for the bottom. And there you have it. And this is so cute. I'm just imagining doing this on a bride. This is going to be so gorgeous and beautiful to do. So to finish up, let's do the lip and then let's wrap this up. I can't wait to see the end product. So for my lips, I'm gonna be going with two different shades. I'm gonna be starting off with a brown shade, and then we're going to be blending it out. Going with this brown lipstick, and we're going to be lining first. Okay. Aw, welcome to the family. You're at the right place. Trust me, you're going to learn so much here. You're definitely at the right place. So, welcome, Dakota. What is your biggest struggle with makeup? What do you struggle with the most? So, I'm going to be placing in this shade. This is from the Maybelline brand, and I love this one. And I'm placing it here. And I like to use the brush. So don't worry if you're not sure how to blend, it's okay. You can place the product and then you can use your brush to fill it in. Honestly, having a fluffy brush just helps because sometimes you just need it. That is like so cute. The blending, okay. What's blending? Is it like blending the foundation, your lipstick, or just generally blending makeup is like very hard for you? So to finish this up, we're going to be using a gloss because this is a bridal look. Of course, a gloss is involved. I'm using this like orangey blush, but before that, now is the time you may want to correct like anything. Okay, guys, this is so gorgeous. Guys, gorgeous. Okay, this is what the lipstick looks like. So for your blending, Dakota, if you're still here, I would simply say for the blending, for the most part, if it's like a foundation, you want to use a damp beauty sponge. And if it's like for your powder, always use like a fluffy brush for your powders. And your eyeshadows, you need lots of fluffy brushes because they just help with the blending. Also, the way you hold your brushes could also actually also affect the way your makeup looks. So Don't worry, I think I should do like a blending tutorial. So, and I will look into that so that I will post that video and you can use that as a reference. So we want to blend our powder in like so. So remember you have all lots of product on your eyes. You're going to strip it off like this. But to really blend under your eye, you're going to be pressing it in. All the powder, you're going to press it in. I've done a tutorial on this. You can check my page for how to blend in your powder. I'm going to press it in. As the only way you're going to come out with like a flawless look. You're going to touch your blush once again before you spray. Dakota, I hope I helped you answer that. So we've come to the end of this tutorial, guys. You want to put on lashes, but this is what it will look like at the end of the day. You can go ahead and put some bottom mascara. He's a great God. He's a great God. He's a great God. So this is what it looks like at the end of the day. You always want to finish off by spraying, and I'll be spraying this. You want to make sure that your mascara is properly dried before you spray, or you're going to have stains. But if you encounter any stains, don't worry, let it dry off. Use an empty or a new beauty, um, forgotten, a spoolie brush, and just brush it off, okay? This will break down all the powder, and then you can finally use your finishing spray. He's a great God. He's a great God. All I know. He's a great. He's a great God. He's a great God. And once again, I'll be using a second spray just to finish it up. This one is Urban Decay's All Nighter. Basically done. I've used up my money's worth, but it's a very good spray. I find it very, very nice. Make sure that you drying it completely. And guys, this is how you do a very versatile makeup look. Let me know your favorite part in the comments. Okay? So guys, we've come to the end of this bridal makeup tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. If you were here from the beginning to the end, thank you so much. Shout out to you guys. Go ahead and put like a highlighter if you like. But for me, this is really good, and I'm super content. If I was working with a bride, of course, I'm going to put a highlighter. So, this is the end. If you want this makeup to be matte, then you can go ahead and use a mattifying spray, and you can also go over it with a powder. Even after you've sprayed, you can go over the makeup with a powder. This will just help to lock in everything, and you come out with a matte look rather than a glossy look. But if you want a glossy look, then this is for you. Thank you so much for sticking around with me. Once again, I am Jenna, a makeup artist. And if you're in Sudbury, I'm located at 152 Durham Street. You will find me there. Okay, thank you so much. The name of the salon is Better Cosmetics, so you will find me there if you're in Sudbury. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Give my video a thumbs up and leave me a comment. Oh, hello, Queen. What an awesome moment. You caught me before I left, but thank you, guys. If you enjoyed this video, give this video a thumbs up. You can rewatch it to learn again, and I'll be seeing you guys again tomorrow. I'm going to be posting pictures of this look online. Feel free to put questions in the comments, ask me whatever you want, and once again, guys, thank you so much.